Good day, my brothers and sisters. I'd like to welcome you to JCC's Life Application, where we're going to take a topic and apply it to our lives. Today, our topic will be leadership. And we're going to look at some leadership principles. What are some qualities of an effective leader? Let's look at Exodus 6:6. And it reads, "Therefore say to the Israelites, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the yoke of the Egyptians. I will free you from being slaves to them, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with mighty acts of judgment." Effective leaders persevere through tough times. When Moses gave God's message to the people, they were too discouraged to listen. The Hebrews didn't want to hear any more about God and his promises because the last time they listened to Moses, all they got was more work and greater suffering. Sometimes a clear message from God is followed by a period when no change in the situation is apparent. During that time, seeming setbacks may turn people away from wanting to hear more about God. If you are a leader, don't give up. Keep bringing people God's message as Moses did by focusing on God, who must be obeyed, rather than on the results to be achieved. Good leaders see beyond temporary setbacks and reveal. Another area we want to look at is Exodus 39, verses 43. Moses inspected the work and saw that they had done it just as the Lord had commanded. So Moses blessed them. Effective leaders delegate. Moses had learned his management lessons well. He gave important responsibilities to others and then trusted them to do the job. Great leaders like Moses give plans and directions while letting others participate on the team. If you are a leader, trust your assistant with key responsibilities and help them in coaching and mentor them along the way. Another attribute of effective leaders appreciate the work of others. Moses inspected the finished work and saw that it was done the way God wanted and then blessed the people. A good leader follows up on an assignment task and gives reward for good work. In whatever responsible position you find yourself, follow up to make sure that the tasks are completed as intended, and show your appreciation to the people who have helped you on the task. Let's look at one more aspect that we want to look at in this leadership thing. Let's go to Deuteronomy 1, verse 9. And it reads, "At that time I told the people, I need help. You are a great burden for me to carry all by myself." We see here effective leaders reorganize their limitations. It was a tremendous burden for Moses to lead the nation by himself. He could not accomplish the task single-handedly. Like nations, as organizations and churches grow, they become increasingly complex. Conflicting needs and quarrels may arise. No longer can one leader make all the decisions. Like Moses, you may have a natural tendency to try to do it all the work alone. You may be afraid or embarrassed to ask for help. Moses made a wise decision to share the leadership with others. Rather than trying to handle large responsibilities alone, look for ways of sharing the load so that others may exercise their God-given gifts and abilities. We can also see that effective leaders cultivate good character qualities. Moses identified some of the inner qualities of a good leader: wisdom, understanding, and respect. These characteristics differ from the ones that often help elect leaders today. Good looks, wealth, popularity, willingness to do anything to get the job done, the qualities Moses identified should be evident in us as we lead, and we should look for them in those who elect to positions of leadership. Luke 22nd chapter and 25th verse says, Jesus says to them, "The king of the Gentiles lorded over them, and those who exercise authority over them call themselves benefactors. But you are not to be like that. Instead, the greatest among you shall be like the youngest, and the one who rules shall be the one who serves." We see here effective leaders are servants. The world system of leadership is very different from the leadership in God's kingdom. Worldly leaders are often selfish and arrogant as they claw their way to the top. Some kings in the ancient world gave themselves in the title of benefactor. But among Christians, the leader is to be the one who serves best. There are different styles of leadership. Some lead through public speaking, some through administrating, some through relationship, but every Christian leader needs a servant's heart. Ask the people you lead how you can serve them better. Hebrews 2:10 reads, in bringing many sons to glory, it was fitting that God, for whom and through whom everything exists, should make the author of their salvation perfect through suffering. We see here Christ demonstrated effective leadership through suffering. How was Jesus made perfect through suffering? Jesus' suffering made him a perfect leader, a pioneer of our salvation. Jesus did not need to suffer for his own salvation because he was God in human form. His perfect obedience, which led him down the road of suffering, demonstrates that he was the complete sacrifice for us. Through suffering, Jesus completed the work necessary for our own salvation. Our suffering can make us more sensitive servants of God. People who have known pain are able to reach out with compassion to others who hurt. If you have suffered, ask God how your experience can be used to help someone else. Christ also is the best model for effective leadership. God's grace to us led Christ to his death. Jesus did not come into the world to gain status or political power, but he suffered and died so that we could have eternal life, bringing many sons to glory. If it is difficult for us to identify with Christ's servant attitude, perhaps we need to evaluate our own motives. Are we more interested in power and participation, domination or service, giving or getting? We must go in and look at this thing and understand why we're actually doing it. As we look at the leadership principles, I hope that we've learned from these here that we can use these things to become effective leaders. We can go in and persevere during hard times. We can also use the different things in our people that are around us as we delegate responsibilities and go in and ensure that they accomplish those things. We can also look at those things that as Christ is our example to be the best leader that we can be. I hope that you've enjoyed this here JCC Life Application on Leadership. This is lesson 1. We'll come back with one more lesson and begin and go from there to see what we can use, how we can use this to our advantage. All right now, be blessed now.